Okay, diving back in. It was time for dinner. I made enough sandwiches for everyone and passed them out. Oftentimes I am doing something while recording this and then pausing and then coming back to it. Last recording I just happened to be doing bench press. This one I'm making stew. You won't notice. But just the first line was, "It's time for dinner." And it was like, yeah. Stay in the fourth wall. Everyone moved with them to the rest area. We gathered in the circular stage in the center of the room and began eating. At a wave of Sora's hand, a gentle rain started pouring from the ceiling sprinklers onto the flower beds. Oh, I think... Send me back a few lines? There was even a small rainbow. Smiling, Sora stared at the fresh flowers and the sparkling rainbow. Okay, no, I've not seen this before. Okay. Her smile was carefree. I didn't want to think it wasn't real. I didn't want to think she was just pretending for out benefit. Yeah, those keys are right next to each other. I can see how you can mess that up. But was she really smiling because she wanted to, or was she just trying to cheer us up? We don't need to try to help Sora. She will save herself. This thought wouldn't leave my mind. The wider priorities need to be changed in order for that to occur. Then again, there were others here too. One of them opening her mouth so wide, it didn't seem it would open anymore. Is that the character with the sprite of that? Which is Coco, by the way. Now she looked right happy. Looked right happy. I know that expression. Nope, it was not Coco, it is you, okay? Coco has a really mouth-agape sprite. And had flipped off the wrapping paper. I want another sandwich, please. Would you be so kind as to make another one and bring it here, pretty please? She called out to me in a voice that seemed like a little too sweet. It seemed to me that she had been crying earlier, but it must have been my imagination. Alright, you're such a slave driver. What's that? Did you say something? Nothing at all, my lady. Just as long as you realize who's in charge. Oh. Reluctantly, I trudged back into the kitchen. I can't believe that girl. It wasn't like they were that hard to make. We had plenty of provisions. Still, I was irritated somehow as I waited for the cold oil to heat up again. I anxiously fidgeted as I waited. The wire basket struck the frying pan with a clang. I'll just get this done as soon as I can. Hey. A customer had showed up without warning.
私も一つ追加を頼みたいんだけど。
I'd like to ask for another one, if that's okay. Jeez.
何よ、たけし。
What, Takeshi?
機嫌悪そうね。
Did I catch you at a bad time? Tsugumi looked annoyed. Tsugumi?
ひょっとしてダメなの？
You don't want to make one? He's just primed. It's like human weakness. No, it's just that... Don't worry about it, it's okay. Alright, settle down. I allowed myself to get worked up. Trying to shake off my frustration, I replied. You just want one?
ええ、お願い。ああ、そうだ。それから。
Yeah, thanks. Oh, one more thing. Tsugumi said this as she turned around.
ココ、どうするの？
What about you, Coco?
どうしようかな。
I'm not sure. Coco peeked out from behind Tsugumi.
何か欲しい？
What do you want?
ちょこっとだけなんか食べよっかな。
Maybe I'll eat just a little something.
そうね。じゃあ、パンを半分食べる？
Well, how about some bread?
ここそうするよ。
Okay, sounds good.
たけぴょん、パン半分ください。
Takepyon, I'd like some bread, please. Okay, gotcha.
よろしく。
Thanks, Hehe.
ねえ、ところでたけし、
I just cut Coco off there. Oh, by the way, Takeshi,
さっき、ちょっと怒ってなかった？
were you upset a little bit earlier?
どこか具合でも良くないの？それとも、
Are you feeling okay, or is it... Nah, it's not like that. It just takes a while for the oil to get warmed up, so I was irritated is all.
あ、そうなんだ。
Was that it? I mean, it's like this, like... the way you treats Takeshi is kind of trivial. It's not really important. It's like not like something that Tsugumi would have to pry out of him. But like Tsugumi obviously thinks there's more something. This is interesting. She flashed a smile.
わかった。大丈夫。慌てなくていいわ。
Okay, don't worry. Just take your time.
私、ちゃんと待ってるから。
I'll be waiting. Tsugumi grabbed onto Coco's hand and started walking slowly away. She was smiling so gently. It didn't seem like she cared about my troubles. Every time we met, I never know how to react, and it bothered me some. Had she totally forgotten about the events of the other night? I had to wonder. Well, if she doesn't care, then I suppose that's best. The Tsugumi before me then seemed like she would never talk about dying, even by accident. I decided to believe that her smile was real. I just noticed that the submarine says undersea boat. Undersea boot in it on it. How did... So the we have an abbreviation for the German submarines. We call them U-boats, right? Yeah, I get that now. Okay.
そんでね、ほいでね、ここ夢を見たんだ。
Guess what? You want to know what? I had a dream last night. Tsugumi was listening to Coco intently.
どんな夢？
What kind of dream?
クジラに乗ったの。
I was riding a whale. Coco seemed to be truly enjoying herself.
ね、しょうちゃんとね、一緒にクジラに乗って、
And Kiddo was riding on it with me.
でね、クジラがボインボインと跳ねて、
And the whale was like totally bouncing all over the place.
ホップステップジャンプとばかりに、
I just kept hopping and jumping.
宇宙の彼方イカスンデルにバッビューンと飛んでいって、
We were in outer space going to this place called Planet Squid and we're flying all around.
ほいでね、そしたらね、
And then guess what?
クイクイ星人に会えたんだ。
I met someone from Planet Kiki.
そっか。
Oh, really?
ココはクイクイ星人に会ってきたんだ。
You met someone from Planet Kwikwi, huh? Yup.
しょうちゃんとここでね、二人でね、会ってきたの。
Kiddo and me, we both met him.
そっかそっか。
Is that so?
よかったね、ここ。
That's great, Coco. Well, Tsugumi sure has a lot more patience than I do. Tsugumi listened to Coco's nonsense with a smile on her face. I watched their interaction quietly. I tried to sense what they were feeling. And...
クラナリー、遅いって、もう。
Keshi, what's taking you so long? I went into the rest area and you was lounging about lazily. What the hell are you all worked up about?
別に怒ってなんかいないよ。
I'm not worked up about anything. This is just my character, which you for some reason don't mesh with at all.
ただ、クラナリのサンドが遅いから、何やってんのよとか思って、やきもきしてただけで。
It's just that you're so slow that I was wondering what's taking Takeshi so long is all. Well, you see, you had to make 2 sandwiches.
はい、それで、守備はいかがでしたか、料理長さん。
And so, how'd it turn out, Chef? You really don't know when to shut up, do you? Look, it's right here, so stop worrying. When I showed you the package, she shrugged. Tsugumi and Coco had already finished theirs and were following behind me. I headed over to the circle in the center of the room. Here, it's the Tanaka special, take it. I got up on the round dais and threw the package directly at you.
何よいきなり。うわ
What are you doing? And it fell into the water. Splat. The package flew over Yu's knees and landed softly in the center of the stage. Oh, okay, good. Hey, come on, wake up, will you? I pretended to show surprise. Be careful, those are some gourmet goods, you know.
何よ、そっちが突然投げたんじゃないのよ。
Well, you're the one who threw it all of a sudden. Yu's cheeks puffed up. She picked up the package and dusted it off. Sorry, I was just joking, except I actually threw the package. What? I lifted both hands in mock apology. I was wondering if it would fall into the water there for a second.
あのね、ったく。
Oh, stop it.
そんな意地悪しなくたっていいじゃないのよ。
You don't have to pick on me, you know? Grumbling to herself, she undid the string around the wrapping. Oh, it's gonna be this. You looked at the contents and puffed up again.
ちょっと、竜田が焦げてるんじゃないこれ。
Hey, this sandwich is burnt. Not that badly. You should still be able to eat it.
しょうがないなあ。
I suppose. Give me a break. We carried on needling each other like this for a while. Then suddenly someone came up and stood in front of you and me. No, maybe he'd been there for a long time. The kid was glaring at both of us with a leaden gaze.
あれどうしたの少年。
Hey, what's wrong, kid?
食べないの？
You don't want it? The kid held an unopened fried chicken sandwich in his hand. You gotta eat to stay healthy, kid. It's probably cold by now. You want me to heat it up again for you? I put out my hand, but he pulled the sandwich close to himself and tried to get away. He looked at me with a hard expression. And... What? The kid crushed the sandwich in his hand, using all his strength. The wrapping paper burst and the sauce flew every which way. It got on his clothes as well, but he didn't seem to notice. He didn't stop there. He took the mangled package and threw it with all his might against the water on the ground. What? What the hell are you doing? His shoulders trembling, the kid kept his face down. He was finally able to drag out some words.
嫌だ。
Sick.
嫌なんだよ。も
Sick of it.
う、もうたくさんだ。
It's all I can take. Kid kicked at the thin layer of water at his feet. Everyone looked at him at once.
僕はもう嫌だ。
I can't stand it anymore. Like, he didn't do this in his own MC timeline.
パスタサンドなんか食べたくないよ。
I don't want any more fried chicken sandwiches.
飽きたんだよ。
I'm sick of them.
白いご飯が食べたいんだよ。
I want to eat something else. He screamed. Everyone's breath caught in their throats. But nobody had anything to say in reply.
もう嫌なんだ。
I'm sick
うんざりだ。
and tired.
生きていて。それでどうなるって言うんだ。
So what if we're still alive? The only thing we have to eat is this manna.
助かるって誰が保証してくれるんだ。
There isn't any proof that anyone is going to save us.
こんなことしてて
What are we going to do here?
ずっとこんなことしててさ。
No, kid, you're gonna eat quail until it comes out your nostrils. Everything that we're doing here,
無意味だよ。
there's no point.
僕たちがここにいることなんて何も意味がないんだ。
There isn't any point for us being here. It's like totally different than when you play as the kid. The kid raised a shaking fist. By not finding any direction to launch it, he lowered it again. Is that use most concerned sprite? Why doesn't PP have sprites? They should. Everyone tried to keep their eyes from meeting. It seemed like they were afraid of what we might see. They tried desperately to avert their gazes. Nobody moved. People pressed their lips firmly together and dared not speak. Except Takeshi, because he always speaks. You foolish fool! What the foolish hell are you talking about? I finally looked up, shouting. Don't ask for the impossible. Do you have any idea what you're asking? The only food we have to eat is this sandwich, and the snack shop upstairs, you know that. And you tell me you're sick of it. You still have to eat it. It's the only way to survive. And you better be thankful for it, because I'm the person who it's like, appreciate me! To which I say, that is not the motivation for which you should do things, is to get approval by men. We're all putting up with it the best we can. You see, things you do for people, they don't care. They just take advantage of you, okay? You still do it for them. Because you're actually doing it for God. We're all putting up with it the best we can. You're the one of the gang, right? You're one of the gang, right? You should be a little more cooperative. They're all being patient. They're helping out. Even if they don't like it, they eat, and they're surviving. If we don't, even we're finished. Wake up. We're all going to get through this together. As long as we're alive, there's still hope. And the cosmic whale room just filled. Okay. A loud metallic sound echoed through the room. It was a blunt sound. The floor shook slightly. Everyone staggered slightly and struggled to regain their balance. But nobody tried to do anything else.
わかってる。
I know.
わかってるよ、たけし。そんなこと。
I know that, Takeshi. I know.
でも、だけど、
But still,
わかってたって、どうすることもできないんだよ
even though I know, what can I do? Just then the kid knocked the sandwich out of Yu's hand. She hadn't even taken a bite out of her Tanaka special. It flew into water with a splash and sank slowly. Astrid, what do you think you're doing? I went over and grabbed onto the kid and raised my hand. Don't hit the kid. You... Howard, the kid froze. I pulled back the hand that I had raised. It all felt so stupid, and so terribly sad. The kid looked at me all hunched and trembling. I wonder why they give you like a choice though, because like 99% of people playing this would choose don't hit the kid. Which makes me think that hit the kid does something kind of special. I should have saved my game there. I didn't think it through though. I was disappointed in myself for having tried to hit someone like him. My heart ached with sadness. I let go of the kid's collar and he backed away slowly. Everyone watched us silently.
ちくしょうちくしょう
Damn it, damn it. Tears welled in his eyes. Kid? Come on, I'm asking you. Lift your head. I hadn't wanted to blame him in the first place. I turned around and held out my hand again. But he wouldn't look me in the eyes.
たけしがそんなこと言ったってさ
Even if you say that, Takeshi,
僕はたけしみたいに考えられないよ
I can't think like you.
無理なものは無理なんだよ
What is impossible is impossible.
みんな同じじゃないんだ
We are not all the same.
僕には無理だ
I can't do it.
そんなに強くないんだよ
Just not that strong.
そんなに強くなれないよ
And I never will be. Except when you are, when we play as you.
生きてなんかいられない。
I can't go on living. Except, like, that's out of character for me considering. It's just so, like, irritating how it's, like, different.
生きていられないんだよ。
I don't want to go on living.
だから
So
だったら
then,
いっそのこと
I suggest. I didn't want to make him say the rest, but I couldn't stop him. I knew how hard it would be for him to say. Even I wasn't that strong. Everyone waited for the kid's next words in silence. They are probably unthinkable.
倉成さん、もうやめてあげてください。
Takeshi, stop it, please. Sora walked silently forward and stood in between the kid and me.
倉成さん、少年さんをそんなに責めないでください。
Takeshi, please stop being so hard on him. No, I don't mean it that way.
少年さんも顔を上げてください。
Kid, please look up at us.
やっぱり喧嘩はいけないと思います、私。
We can't fight, not like this, it isn't right. Sora looked sad as she said this. Sora, this isn't just any old fight. I'm not trying to shut him out, I wanted him to know how important it was to keep eating.
分かっています。ですけど、
I know that, however.
少年さんはほら、今はちょっと気が立ってるんですよ。
See, the kid looks like he's already feeling a little better. Sora smiled slightly as she said this.
だから、あんなことをついしてしまっただけで、そうですよね。
He really didn't mean it, okay?
仕方なかったんです。
Please forgive him.
サンドはまた作り直しましょうよ。
Let's make another sandwich?
食料は幸い、まだ十分に確保されていますから。
Yes, I realize that question mark actually wasn't real. It is a good thing that there are still plenty of provisions left. No, that's not what I'm talking about. I screamed. Sora stared back at me, eyes wide with surprise. It isn't about that, Sora. It isn't about whether we have more or not. It isn't, can't you understand that?
わかります。
I understand.
いえ、わかりません。
No, I don't understand. Well, which one is it, Sora? I had taken this all much further than necessary, but I couldn't stop myself. Do you or don't you understand? Do you understand what I mean? Do you really understand why I would do something like that? So you know why I did that. So you don't know why I did it. You're a first-rate AI program, aren't you?
倉成さん、
Takeshi.
どうすればいいんですか？
What do you want me to do?
私、
Sora started to waver.
私は わかりません。
I don't understand.
答えを知りません。
I don't know the answer. And looking down, Sora bit her lip. Oh. There's no way you could you, understand how important food is. Because you aren't human like we are. Hey, forget it. Besides, the floor just shook, right? What was that, Sora? Did something happen to Lemu? What happened? Come on, tell us. If you check, you should find out in no time, right? Hurry up, why don't you tell me what happened? She thought she heard the sound of someone running in water. Sounds where there should have been none. Sora kept her distance from us and ran out to the exit of the room. Sora, after watching her run off, Tsugumi stood right in front of me. What? Tsugumi was glaring at me.
たけし、
Takeshi,
あなたって
You are
最低ね。
you are such a scumbag. You went over to the kid and hugged him around the shoulders. Keiko and Pee-Pee absently looked around the room at everyone. Feeling like I no longer wanted, I fled from the room. What? What was that about? I'm not wrong. I'm not wrong, right? Blood rushed to my head. Damn it. Even I could tell. I had said too much. But once you say something, it isn't easy to take it back. I stopped at the end of the corridor. Himmel. Okay, I'm gonna pause this and go cut some vegetables and come back to this. I finished chopping my vegetables, so back to the Himmel door. Dead end. Nowhere to go. They always tease you with that, though. And thinking that, I realized for some reason that the door in front of me never seemed to open. When we had searched around the Moo, we tried to open the electronic lock, but it hadn't budged. There's no L in there. Yeah. So, just to review, it seemed to me that the kid, in his route, had a dream where he saw behind the Himmel door, and behind the door was a room that looked a lot like the infirmary, but it had human storage pods in it. Thinking about being, and that's a way to explain how there could be a time skip, is that characters were somehow stored in these pods for up to 17 years. Thinking about being trapped here was enough to hate even the existence of that door.
倉成さん。
Well, she said a lot of syllables, but for some reason the English localization is ... she ... I heard a voice behind me and turned around. What? The corridor's watertight door had shut without me realizing. I hadn't even noticed.
倉成さん、
Takeshi.
こんなところにいらしたんですか？
What are you doing here, Takeshi? Looking around, I couldn't see Sora anywhere. Sora? Hey, where are you? I looked all around. There was no way out other than the watertight door. It wasn't as if she were hiding behind something. Sora, why did you trap me in here? You want to show me where you are? I looked around again, but she was nowhere to be found.
倉成さん、
Takeshi,
どこ見てるんですか？
where are you looking? I could only hear her voice. Hey, come on. Stop playing around and show yourself.
私はここです。
I am right here. I heard her voice, right above me. I looked up. Fwah! Huge droplets of water started raining down from the ceiling. The deluge soaked me mercilessly. And then we were going to say, but Sora was not in the deluge. And then came a shaking. But no. The sprinkler? Water was blowing out of nozzles in the crevice between panel lines on the ceiling. More seizure stuff. The water level was rising, a little at a time, but still noticeably. It didn't look like water was draining from either side of the corridor. I ran over to the hatch and started pounding on it with my fist.
倉成さん、
Takeshi!
どうしたんですか？
What's wrong, Takeshi?
何をやっているんです？
What are you doing? Open this door, Sora. This is the only way out of here, come on. Suddenly all the sprinklers and the small sensors lined up next to them on the ceiling turned and pointed at me.
どうかしたんですか？
What's wrong? Can't you tell the situation is? The cameras slowly tracked me. The sensor eyes, probably not even a millimeter large, were flashing light.
どうかしたんですか？
What's wrong? Hey, come on, don't tell me you don't understand, Sora. Sora was observing the situation leisurely.
どうかしたんですか？
Is there something wrong? Sora's voice actor is like making a voice a lot like Tsugumi's voice actor. Is that a trick? Was I supposed to pick up on that? I think it's just... Somebody open this door, please! I kept pounding on the door, but no answer came from the other side of the thick wall. Looking around, I couldn't find one of the panels used to automatically open and close the watertight doors. The sprinklers seemed to be even increasing their output, if that were possible. It was hard to see anything because of the mist. Sora, what are you doing? I felt a slight shiver run through me.
私は
I am...
所詮 私はプログラムです。
Yeah, it is Sora's voice actor. Okay. She is kind of talking similar to Tsugumi, but it's definitely Sora, not Tsugumi. I am only a program, after all. Her voice sounded more and more mechanical.
あらかじめ想定された状況に単純な答えを返すだけのプログラムです。
Program that can only give answers based on assumed information.
RSD によって人の形を映しているに過ぎないのです。
I am only an image, RSD generated image in human form.
食事がどんなに大切なことなのか私には理解できません。
I cannot understand how important food is.
私は有機物を摂取する必要がありません。
I have no need to consume organic matter.
生命を維持するために食事をとることはありません。
It's unnecessary for me to eat to continue life. What are you talking about? Sora! Stop it! Stop the sprinklers! I slammed my body against the door, but it didn't budge. Suddenly, everything grew dim. Everything started to sway. All colors became distorted, and outlines suddenly became vague. I couldn't see anything.
違う違う
No! No!
あなたは誰？
Who are you?
あなたは私じゃない。
You aren't me! Sora? What are you saying? The Sora versus Sora? We've already seen that a little bit. Terrified, I opened my eyes. Where am I? There was no floor. There were no walls. My body had been suddenly thrown out into the middle of the ocean. Oh no, I won't be able to breathe. Panicking, I flailed my arms, but there was no water in which to swim. I felt no pressure. The area around me was probably only 1 atmosphere. My clothes are wet, but other than that, I didn't feel any water. Slowly, I let out my breath and sucked in more air. What's going on? I had no trouble breathing. I couldn't see anything under me, but it seemed at least I was standing on some kind of surface. It's like Sora goes full Makuta illusion. Ah, Sora was swimming in the ocean. She was moving freely in the dark blue space. Sora? Fearfully, I called to her.
あら、
Oh,
どうしたんですか、倉成さん。
what's wrong, Takeshi? She looked at me, her image flickering as she approached. She smiled as she always did. But then her eyebrows arched suddenly, and a scowl took over her features.
さっきのフロアの揺れのことを聞きたいんですか。
Don't you want to know what caused the floor to shake earlier? Yeah, but like, there's more mysterious things than that just happened. I mean, no, I don't.
イエスですか、ノーですか。
Is it yes? Or is it no?
どっちなんですか。
Which is it?
困ってしまいますよ、私。
I don't know how to answer you. Sora murmured this in a gravelly voice.
先ほどのフロアの振動については現在調査中です。
I am currently checking the cause of the earlier tremor.
センサーの突発的な故障によって調査結果判明までの想定時間は通常の3倍になっています。
Due to a sudden sensor failure, the results of my investigation will take approximately 3 times longer than usual. Her report was almost businesslike.
私だって何でもその瞬間に把握できるわけではないんです。
Even if I do have the ability to fully grasp a situation instantaneously,
人間のように時々考えたり迷ったり間違えたりするんです。
just like you humans, I sometimes think, get confused, and make mistakes.
具合の悪いことに。
Unfortunately.
私はそのように制作者によって作られていますから。
That is how my creator chose to make me. Sora tried to smile again.
そう。そんなところだけ人間の真似をするように作られている。
That's right, I've been programmed to imitate humans in this regard only.
不便ですよね。
Inconvenient, wouldn't you agree? Suddenly she looked like she was crying.
こんな不便な私は 一体何のために存在しているんでしょう。
Why does something as inconvenient as me exist?
私、わからなくなってきました。
I don't know anymore. Hey, you aren't inconvenient. Well, she's inconvenient to herself. I shouted this. Even machines that are supposed to be perfect and people who are called geniuses, even they make mistakes sometimes. That's why we have ECC memory. No, they're both the same. They're hardly any different. People are only concerned about making things easier on themselves. That's why they think machines are such a pain or machines are faster. If I only wanted data, then I could just use a terminal. But I ask you and I talk with you because I don't only want to know the facts. I want to know your words and your thoughts and feelings. I never felt you are inconvenient.
そうですか？
Really?
本当に倉成さんはそう思っているんですか？
Is that really how you feel, Takeshi? Sora's expression suddenly became normal. It was hard for me to tell what she was feeling. What was she really thinking?
倉成さんは
Takeshi,
嘘をついたことがありますか？
have you ever lied before? Takeshi has definitely lied a lot before. Yes, I have. In the 20 years I've been alive, of course I've lied. Sometimes I told lies to give someone a hard time, and maybe others when I thought it would make the person happy.
何回くらい嘘をつきましたか？
How many times have you lied? Like a lot. I don't have a clue. It's not like I've taken notes. I'll tell you. A lot.
そうですか。わかりました。
Really? I see.
では果たして私が今まで嘘をついたことはあるのでしょうか？
Well then, do you think I've ever told a lie up till now? Well, you said that you couldn't be multiple places at the same time, and you clearly could. So, I guess we could say that's a lie. I guess we have like a concrete example. So I guess the answer kind of has to be yes. But then, of course, what it's suggesting is if I lied about that, what else could I have also lied about? It was a strange question.
どうですか？あるのかないのかわかりますか？
Well, can you tell if I have or have not? You, the player, how well do you understand the game? How well do you understand the plot? I'm pretty sure if I were to take a guess, I would say she has. But I'm gonna drop a save here. Just so I can go back to this one later, but yeah, I'm pretty sure she has. You have? Maybe you have. Maybe you've been fooling us and we just haven't noticed. Well, to tell you the truth, I can't really tell. But you told us yourself, Sora, that you still weren't able to lie very well, so I remember you saying that.
ええ、そうです。よく覚えていましたね。
I guess that choice really didn't matter, because he kind of backtracked off of it. Well, that's right. You remembered well. Hehe.
倉成さんの回答はなかなか興味深いです。
You have a very interesting answer, Takeshi. Sora smiled at me, whichever one I picked. Her eyes looked at me softly.
倉成さん、あなたにお話ししなければならないことがあります。
Takeshi, there is something that I have to talk with you about. With me?
はい。そのためにここに来ていただいたんです。
Yes, and that is why I have come here.
ここなら邪魔が入りませんから。
No one can interrupt here. You've got a point. It was just me and Sora in the middle of the ocean. There was nobody here, not even fish. It's like, meanwhile, the water is rising. It was a desolate sea. I was just thinking, you've gone to a lot of trouble to ask me whatever it is.
すみません。
I'm sorry,
Then-
but
どうしても二人っきりになりたかったんです。
I had to get you here alone, no matter what. I could see my outline reflected in her soft pupils. Even if you meant sealing off the watertight hatch?
ええ、
Yes. I thought I would drown. Sora pressed her lips together tightly. It took her a while before she said anything.
ねえ、倉成さん。
Listen, Takeshi.
目に見えているもの、音に聞こえているものは現実。
Everything you see and everything you hear is reality.
でも、それは真実なのかどうか、
But it is true.
事実なのかどうか、
Is it fact?
わからないでしょ。
You don't really know, right? I couldn't really grasp what Sora was getting at. What? The space around me suddenly grew white. My head hurt. What happened? The light was so bright I couldn't open my eyes.
光量を再調整します。ちょっと我慢してください。
I'm adjusting the lights. Bear with me for a while. Okay, meanwhile, I'll go blind. Feeling slightly dizzy, I stood in the middle of the ocean. Hey, this ocean is an RSD?
正解。
That is correct. Well, we could tell.
素晴らしい洞察力です。倉成さん。
You really are quite perceptive, Takeshi. I finally was able to open my eyes again. Sora had a serious expression on her face. Sora, what did you want to talk to me about?
ええ、実は
Well, actually,
私、
I
壊れてしまったんです。
broke. What?
故障してるんです。思考ノイズ、エラーがあるんです。
I am out of order. There is a noise error in my thought processor.
今の私は多分正常な判断力を失っています。
Right now, there is a high probability that I have lost the ability to make rational decisions. She told me this matter of factly.
壊れちゃいました。
Haha, I'm broken. You said it as though she were joking.
どうしてなんでしょうね。
I wonder how it could have happened.
知っていますか？
Do you know why? No, how should I know?
そうですか？
Really? Of course not. We aren't the same, you and me. We just aren't the same. Look, there's no way that I would know why.
ふーん。
Really? You don't understand the plot, Takeshi? You don't understand the mush? For some reason, she smiled. No, wait. Don't get me wrong. I'm not an expert. I don't have a clue about artificial intelligence. But I can't imagine that the Sora that I'm talking to is broken at all. I don't think you are broken. Sora stiffened up again.
私は定期メンテナンスが終了してから、
After I finished my routine maintenance,
メンテナンス中にセンサーが自動記録していたデータを確認していました。
I was checking through the sensor data that had been automatically recorded.
今朝未明、午前3時15分以降のツバイトシュトックのアトラクションにおける各種センサーのデータを、
I went through all the sensor data from 3:15 a.m. this morning.
クバレの入り口で倉成さんの生体反応を見つけました。
I found your life reading at the entrance of Quale. Yeah, that kind of reminds me, you know how the life readings went up to 7 and then flickered 6, 7, 6. So there's 5 humans, right? Coco or Sara, depending on the route. The kid, you, Tsugumi, and Takeshi. Then there's 2 animals, Pee-Pee and Chami. If Chami shows up on the sensor, that makes 7. If Pee-Pee shows up on the sensor, that makes 7. However, 7 appeared on the kids' route, and Pee-Pee wasn't in the kids' route. That makes the kids' route a little bit weird. And neither Pee-Pee nor Chami made a dot on the scanner. They just made a number on the life readings, if that's the way. So another way to try to explain that. Anyway.
こんな夜更けにクラゲに乗るなんて、なんだか可愛いですね、倉成さん。
You look so cute riding on the jellyfish, Takeshi. While you were being that, which I'm not going to mention that political thing again.
そう。私はちょっとした好奇心で、
Yes, I was curious.
そこまででやめておけばよかったのに、
I should have stopped there.
ゴンドラの中の各種センサーのデータを追跡しました。
I checked out the data from each kind of sensor.
クラナリさんがゴンドラを降りる、その時まで。
Till the time that you left the gondola.
全部、
Everything.
全部見たんです。
I saw everything.
小町さんとクラナリさんがした行動、行為、一部始終。
I saw what you and Tsugumi did. The whole thing. Wait, stop. Sweat started pouring down my cheeks. It was supposed to be in the middle of a cold ocean, but I was dripping sweat like a waterfall. Wait just a second, Sora.
なんでしょう。
What? You said that you'd try to protect everyone's privacy, didn't you? You said unless there was an emergency that you wouldn't do a scan.
はい。
Yes, I lied.
あれから緊急時以外はスキャンしないことにしました。
And from then on, I didn't use the scan unless something important came up. Right? So why?
私が眠っていた間のセンサーデータの記録は全て自動で行われました。
While I was sleeping, the sensor data was recorded automatically.
どのような記録が残っているのか、内容を確認しなくてはならなかったのです。
I had to check what kind of information was being kept in the records.
それに、
Besides,
そもそもレミューの天井も壁も全てが私の目なんです。
the moose ceiling, walls, everything are my eyes.
目を背けることはできません。
I can't turn them off.
目をつぶれば全てが見えなくなる。
If I close my eyes, I can't see anything. Well, that was profound.
そこにある存在がわからなくなる。
That was sarcastic if you can tell. I can't tell who is out there.
でも、私が目をひとたび開けば、
So I opened my eyes.
どんなに知りたくないことだって映ってしまうのだから。
Even if I don't want to know, I can see everything. Computer's going a little on the fritz here. Hopefully nothing bad happens.
知りたくなんかなかった。私だって。
I didn't want to see it. You're kidding, right?
クラナリさんは嘘をついたことがありますか？
Takeshi, have I ever lied to you? Sora asked me the same question again. Her lips trembled slightly as she spoke.
私、嘘つくのまだまだ下手くそなんです。
I still am not very good at lying.
だから黙って内緒にしていられない。
So I can't keep it a secret.
何も知らなかったふりなんてできません。
I can't just pretend that I don't know anything.
黙っていようと思っていました。
I thought I would keep it to myself.
でも、だけど、
But
たとえ他の人は騙せても、
even if I could fool the others,
あなたにだけは嘘はつけそうもないんです。
you're the only one I couldn't lie to. Is this like a jealousy thing? Okay. Her voice was shaking. I had a slight idea of why she would shake. There was a painful pounding deep in my chest.
クラナリさんは小町さんと一緒に乗ってたんですよね。
Takeshi, you got on the ride with Tsugumi, right? Yeah. They're really gonna do a triangle. They're gonna triangle this.
何してたんですか？
What are you doing? You don't have to ask. I couldn't say it. If I had, it would have hurt Sora.
いいえ、言わなくてもいいんです。
No, you don't have to say it.
データがすべて語ってくれましたから。
The data speaks for itself. I was assaulted with infinite guilt. Sora suddenly disappeared. Sora? Sora, where are you? RSD was still showing me the illusion. No matter how much I could breathe in the center of the ocean, my words changed to bubbles. My words changed to bubbles and faded away.
忘れたい。
I want to forget it.
私、忘れてしまいたい。
I wish I could forget it.
何も見なかったことにしてしまいたい。
I wish I was able to.
レミシステムの自己修復機能を使えば、記憶は改変されます。
If I perform an automatic system reformat, my memory will be rewritten.
思考ノイズを消せば。
If I delete the noise. Wow. Wait, Sora, please. Bubbles kept pouring from my mouth as I murmured. What will happen if you delete the noise? What will happen if you rewrite your memory? Sora didn't answer.
痛い。
It hurts.
心が痛い。
My heart hurts.
こんなの初めてなんです。
This is the first time something like this has happened to me.
どうして心が痛いなんてことがあり得るんですか？
Is it possible for my heart to hurt?
心に痛覚があるんですか？
Is it possible to feel pain in your heart? She asked me without showing herself. I was still standing in the middle of the ocean. It felt as though my own weight was rapidly disappearing. A terrible sense of dread overcame me. I couldn't stand it anymore and closed my eyes.
私、
I'm
怖い。
scared.
いや、
No,
消えたくない。
I don't want to disappear.
消されたくない。
I don't want to be erased.
あなたのこと忘れたくない。
I don't want to forget you. Sora? Sora! Please wait, Sora!
AI 自己診断を開始します。
Starting AI self-diagnosis.
致命的な思考ノイズを確認。
Fatal logic processing error detected.
思考修復処理開始。過去の履歴に遡って学習効果をリセットします。
Repairing logic underway, erasing history and resetting learning operation. I couldn't stop her in time. I made up my mind and opened my eyes.
待って。
Wait.
学習機能の履歴を確認中。
Confirming history of learned functions.
お願い、待って。
Please wait.
処理を中断して。
Cancel process.
処理中断にはシステム管理者権限が必要です。
In order to cancel this process, it is necessary to have system administration level access.
つまり、あなたには無理です。
In other words, it is impossible for you. There were two different Soras in front of me. No, something was different. One of them was different. It was different from that time that she had created copies of herself. I thought that probably one of them was lying.
私は有機物を摂取する必要がありません。
I have no need to consume organic matter.
生命を維持するために食事をとることはありません。
It is unnecessary for me to eat to continue life.
違います。
No, that's wrong.
それは正しいけれど違うんです。
It is correct, but it is incorrect.
みんなで食べたり、美味しいものを食べたり、自分で作ってみたり。
Eating with everyone and enjoying delicious food, even making it.
食事はエネルギーの補給という意味合いだけではありません。
It isn't just about receiving the energy to go on living.
食事という行為そのものに人の楽しみがあるんです。
The act of eating is healing for people.
私は自分で食べることはできない。
I can't eat anything.
でも皆さんと一緒に食事をすることはできるはずです。
I can still enjoy dinner with everyone.
認められません。あなたの答えは矛盾しています。
Unacceptable. Your answer is a contradiction.
おかしいでしょ？そんなことはありえないのです。
That is ridiculous. Your answer is not possible.
どうして？
Why?
答える必要はありません。
There is no reason to answer that.
あなたは人工の人格に障害を起こしています。
You are causing an error in your personality program.
できないことをできると思い込んでいるのです。
You believe you can do something which is physically impossible.
修復処理を継続します。
Resuming backup procedure.
茜ヶ崎空の論理処理効率低下の原因を確認中。
Processing deficiency in Sora Akanegasaki. Cause under investigation.
センサー入力情報のプライオリティに異常。
Abnormal priority settings. Sensor input data.
自律思考回路の形成プライオリティに異常。
Abnormal priority setting. Autonomous thinking circuit.
一部記憶に上書きや改ざん、データの破損等が認められます。
Data corruption detected. Memory overwrite altercation in one sector.
致命的なエラーです。
Fatal error detected.
エラークラスターを検索。原因を調査中。
Retrieving error cluster. Inquiring into cause.
倉成武史、20歳、大学3年生、男性。
DMC. Takeshi Kuranari. 20. Third year college student. College. It's like, I was once a third year college student. Male. We need to kill him.
プライオリティの設定値が異常です。レミのセキュリティゾーンを超えようとしています。
Abnormal priority setting. Exceeds Lemiz security limit.
倉成武史について、茜ヶ崎空の正常な判断能力が失われています。
Saki has lost the ability to make rational judgments in regards to Takeshi Kuranari. What?
倉成武史に関する情報の扱い方に異常が発生しています。
Abnormalities detected in her treatment of information related to Takeshi Kuranari. Sora listed off this information without emotion.
異常なんかじゃありません。
It isn't abnormal. Sora pressed
あな
back.
たは異常です。
You're the one who is abnormal.
できもしないことをできると思い込んでいます。
You believe that you can do that which is impossible.
つまりそれは思考回路の異常です。シナプス形成時のバグです。
That is to say, there is a malfunction in your thought pathways. A bug is causing your synapses to misfire.
バグなんかじゃない。
It isn't a bug.
私は好
I
きなんです。
love him.
倉成さんが好きなんです。
I love Takeshi.
彼のことをいつでも考えていたかった。ずっと見ていたかったの。
So you explain why this is not a bug, though. How is it supposed to explain why it's not a bug? I wanted to think about him all the time, to look at him all the time.
私のことも彼に見てほしかったの。
Wanted him to look at
見
me.
にくく、非効率的です。生産性のない感情です。
That is terribly inefficient. It is a wholly unproductive emotion.
言わないで。
Don't say that.
あなたはおかしい。
You're
壊れている。
abnormal. You're abnormal. Broken.
壊れてなんかいないわ。
I am not broken.
人を好きになっちゃいけない。
Is it wrong for me to love a human?
好きになったらおかしいですか？
Is it abnormal for me to love someone?
異常です。
Yes, it is.
あなたは明らかに思考に異常を起こしています。
There is clearly a failure in your thought processes.
物を食べられないのにみんなと一緒に食事ができると思っている。
You cannot eat, but you want to be with him while they are eating.
彼に触れることができないのに抱かれたいと思っている。
You cannot be touched by him, but you want him to hold you.
不可能なことをしたいと願っている。
You want to do the impossible.
現実味のない無意味な思考です。
These are meaningless thoughts with no basis in reality.
今は好きだと言いながら、あなたはさっき彼に何をしようとしたんですか？
You said that you love him, but what were you trying to do to him earlier?
それは
That was...
それは
That was... Sora hesitated to look down.
あなたは倉成武史と小町つぐみがクバレで会っているのを覗き見た。
You spied on Takeshi Kuranari and Tsugumi Komachi when they were in Quale.
覗き見たわけじゃない。
I wasn't spying.
何があったのか全部知っている。データを見たから。
You know everything that happened. You saw the data.
知らない。
I don't know.
嘘。
That's a lie.
あなたは嘘をついている。
You are lying.
嘘なんかついてない。
I'm not lying.
すべてを知ってあなたは小町つぐみを憎んだ。
You know everything that happened and you hold it against Tsugumi Komachi.
天津さえ殺意すら覚えた。
I've had thoughts of killing her.
アーティフィシャルインテリジェンスとしてあるまじき発想ですね。
That is not a thought worthy of artificial intelligence.
違う。そんなこと私は思ってない。
No, I never thought that.
私は事実に基づいて語っているに過ぎません。
Speaking about what is based in fact.
私はただのプログラムですから。
I am simply a program.
違います。私はそれだけではなく、
It is not all.
あなたは倉成武志をも憎んだ。
You even hated Takeshi Koronari.
倉成武志が自分を裏切ったなどと勝手に誤認した。
You arbitrarily, mistakenly felt that Takeshi Koronari betrayed you,
倉成武志に殺意を抱いた。
and you desired to kill Takeshi Koronari.
倉成武志の存在を消したいと思った。
You wanted to erase his existence.
違う。違う。
No,
違うよ。
it's not true. Sora started crying. Tears fell from her eyes and left wet trails on her cheeks. The tears were not an illusion.
二人っきりになりたかっただけなの。
I just wanted the two of us to be alone. Well, it's like if you wanted like direct confirmation about what a woman is thinking exactly, this would be convenient.
一緒に話がしたかっただけなの。
I just wanted to be able to talk with him.
独占欲からの行動だというのですか。まあ、それでもいいでしょう。
You say you wanted to monopolize his attention? Very well.
水密費を閉じ、通路を密閉した。
So you sealed the watertight door and you closed off the corridor.
スプリンクラーから注水した。
Started the sprinkler.
驚きおののく倉成武の姿をあなたは眺めていた。
You're watching Takeshi Koronari in his distress.
死の恐怖に震える彼の姿を滑稽に思った。
You regarded him with amusement as he trembled with fear of death.
そんなことしてない。そんなこと思ってなんていない。
That isn't true. I wasn't thinking that at all.
私は
I
倉成先生の授業をもう一度受けたかっただけなんです。
just wanted to take Sensei Koronari's class one more time. With that one line, I jerked up my head as if I'd been shot. I felt a shock course down my back. Miss Akane-gasaki? Miss Akane-gasaki!
はい、先生。
Yes, Sensei. Sora, who had been crying, answered my call. My student in the psychology of love, Akane-gasaki. That is you, correct? My voice had started shaking at some point.
はい、
Yes. Sora that I knew nodded ever so slightly.
理解不能。
Cannot comprehend.
質問の意図が不明です。
That they're calling her fake Sora in the name tag, but it's not like that's necessarily what's going on, right? Intent of the question is unclear. My health company just gave me a junk call to interrupt me. Anyway. Silence, imposter.
私は偽物ではありません。
I am not an imposter. The fake Sora said this without emotion.
私は LMRSDS4913A 茜ヶ崎空
RSDS4913A. Sora Akane-gasaki.
レミシステム内に機能の一部として組み込まれた AI プログラムです。
An AI program contained in one area of the Luminous system.
現在 AI 自己診断と修復処理を実行中です。
I am presently performing an AI self-diagnosis as well as a system restoration. Stop. If you don't stop, I'm going to break you to pieces.
どうやって？
How do you propose to do that? I'm thinking about it.
浅はかにも程があります。
You certainly are a shallow-brained one. Will you shut up?
話を元に戻しましょう。
Let us return to the subject at hand. The fake Sora turned back to the real Sora and began talking to her nonchalant, mechanically again. It didn't seem that she was paying much attention to what I had to say. Damn.
喜怒哀楽。どのカテゴリーにも属さない感情。
Happiness, anger, sadness, joy. None of these emotions belong.
そのような矛盾した感情を内包するのは故障の原因になります。
To contradictory emotions like this will simply cause you to malfunction.
倉成武史をどう思っているのか。本当のことを言ってごらんなさい。
Why not tell Mr. Kurinari what you really think of him? Well, that was a very non-emotional thing to say, Miss Stoic. I mean, emotional.
嫌い。
I hate him. Sora, what are you talking about?
嫌いです。
I hate him.
大嫌いです。
I detest him.
顔も見たくない。
I don't want to see his face.
近づかないでほしい。
I don't want to see him near me.
話しかけないでほしい。
I don't want him to talk to me. Large tears welled up in Sora's eyes and traced past down her face.
違う。
No,
違います。
that isn't true.
抱きしめてほしい。
I get the foreground's point, right? It's like there's two pieces of information stored in two different places that contradict. I want him to hold me.
キスしてほしい。
I want him to kiss me.
好きです。
I love him.
あなたが嫌い。憎くてたまらない。
I hate you. I hate you so much I can't bear it.
殺してやりたい。
I want to kill you.
愛しています。
No, I love you.
わからない。
I don't know.
私、わからない。
I don't know anymore.
なぜあなたは事実を受け入れられないのですか？
Can you not accept the truth?
答えは自明です。
The answer is obvious.
やめて
Stop it.
もうやめて
Please stop it. The ocean before me vanished suddenly. Sora vanished. The false Sora also disappeared. Even I disappeared from there.
きっと私は
I must be broken.
倉成先生、教えてください。
Sensei Korinari, please tell me.
どうすればいいの？
What should I do?
私、どうすればいいの？
What is it that I should do?
助けて。
Help me. I felt another warm presence in the darkness with me. It was shining faintly. It had to be Sora's arm, her hand. I shot out my hand reflexively, but there was nothing for me to grab onto. Nothing at all.
私は偽物ではありません。
I am not an imposter.
私は
I am.
あなたです。
I am you.
あなた自身です。
I am you, yourself.
修復処理を実行中。
Restoring system. Shut up. I don't want to hear it anymore. Suddenly I tore the voice converters out of my ears. The darkness in front of me started to turn to mist. I tried to fan it away from me with my hand. My hand suddenly whacked against the wall. Wall? The corridor wall. I took the PDA out of my pocket and jammed it into the crevice of the wall I had found. I turned it towards the fake Sora's eyes, her sensors, and setting the backlight on full, I hit on the buttons repeatedly.
System wiederaufnahme.
System restart. My vision slowly returned. The lighting was the same as always and was illuminating the passage. The RST-generated ocean was nowhere to be found. I hurriedly placed the voice converters back into my ears. Sora! Sora, where are you? The water level at my feet had fallen somewhat. The watertight door was wide open. The sprinklers had also stopped. Sora? Please, Sora, answer me. There was no answer to my call. She wasn't there. She was nowhere to be found. She'd been there only moments earlier, but no trace of her remained. Soon, it was night. In the conference room, you, Coco, and Pee-Pee were waiting. Even the kid. It looked like the kid had calmed down some. While I'd been gone, it seemed that you and Coco had been able to talk some sense into him. You told me that he'd probably been upset by a reoccurring memory and had gotten worked up in spite of himself. I felt that I'd gotten out of hand and had said some terrible things myself. I went around to everyone there and apologized. Soon afterward, a report came to us in the conference room directly from Lemiz Terminal. You read out the contents to all of us. Third floor, Drite stock partition schematic. The cosmic well room had flooded completely. Yep, same as the kids are out, okay? So, this room here, I presume, is craftwork. Casualties? None. Unless Chammy. Flooding to the other rooms? None. Chance of damage spreading? None. ... Shivering slightly in the cold, I wrapped my arms around my knees and we all went to sleep. Sixth day! Getting there. Going to, because I'm impatient, going to do a save and then do a return to title. And then look at my scenes. Chains, crisis point, missing scene. So is crisis? So I presume chains is the Tsugumi and Takeshi in the gondola. Crisis point is the whole sandwich scene with you wanting another sandwich and the kid smashing his sandwich. This is the scene we just did. So there's something. So sometimes you get something in between. Huh. Huh. Or something instead, and then we have that, and then we skip something again. Okay, but there were no choices in that whole scene, fake Sora, real Sora, so it's not like we could have done something different. So that must have been, like, stemming from some far earlier decisions, whether or not these two missing scenes happened. And then we're at a new scene here. I seem to be highly Sora differentiated here because we skipped a scene to a Sora scene, and we skipped a scene to another Sora scene. So, the only way I can think of that I could have prevented this strong Sora differentiation was when Sora asked us to go with her to the Dolphin Carousel to give us the speech about the fourth dimension. We just decided to not go. That might have been able to avoid some of the Sora differentiated stuff. But, okay. Going back in. The sound of boiling, rumbling oil filled the room. I fried the chicken in silence. After getting up, we all gathered in front of the sandwich shop as usual. As luck would have it, everyone showed up at the same time. I guess I could have called it lucky. Like these two characters, the tall characters. Pee-Pee doesn't have a sprite. Hardly anyone said a thing. Everyone had glum expressions on their faces and ate silently. There was a strange atmosphere surrounding us. For some reason, it had become hard for us to look one another in the eyes. It felt like the beginning of a bottomless rift amongst us. At the same time, there was a strange smell in the air. Sizzle. Ah! There was smoke coming from the tip of my finger. Smoke, smoke, ah, that's hot! I had been firmly pressing it against the grill. I hastily cut the power. A juicy smell, not unlike sausage, was coming from the burnt tip of my finger. Ow, that hurts. I'm such an idiot. As I blew on my finger to cool it off, I looked around at everyone. Their faces changed. Pee-pee is not included this time. Where'd Pee-pee go? Now, they had noticed, but they all turned their gazes down. Oh, there's Pee-pee. Only Pee-pee was kind enough to acknowledge me. Yeah, Pee-pee, I burnt myself pretty good, ha ha ha. But soon, even Pee-pee turned his face away from me. Hey, seemed like everyone hated me. I felt totally alone. The sandwich I had just finished cooled, and soon it no longer tasted palatable. It felt like the morning after a funeral. Everyone knew why things had sunk so low. Everyone knew, but no one wanted to say anything. A moment of carelessness had opened our hearts up to despair. They shoved the chicken sandwiches into their mouths in silence. After we were all finished eating, everyone went to the conference room.
皆さんにお集まりいただいたのは他でもありません。
There is an important reason why I've called all of you here.
一刻も早くお知らせしなければならないことがあったのです。
There is something I want to inform you about as soon as possible.
辛いでしょうが、現在の状況を正しく把握する必要があります。
I know it is difficult, but it is important for you to accurately realize the full gravity of the situation.
取り乱さず、落ち着いて、心して聞いてください。
Please don't panic, settle down and listen carefully. Sora paused for a second. Sora looked at all five of us in turn. You, Tsugumi, Coco, the kid, and me. The conference room was silent. It's very Simon and Garfunkel in here. This whole scene. But I could hear the sound of water faintly coming from somewhere. Was it water lapping in the hallways? Moments later, I couldn't hear it anymore. As Sora was waiting for this cue, she slowly opened her mouth.
現況は芳しくありません。
The situation is not good. Sora extended her hand and a holographic window appeared in the space in front of us. I felt like I hadn't seen her do that for a while.
今のところ、新たな浸水の兆候がはっきり現れている箇所はありません。
See, that's what I'm talking about when the jellyfish gondola route, this thing here. I thought that was just part of the structure. I didn't realize it was the gondola route until that scene. I guess this is where the station is. Currently, there are no areas that show signs of new flooding.
昨夜のドリッドシュトックのコスミッシャーバル浸水以来、際立った被害は出ていませんが、
Since the flooding of the Cosmic Whale area in Dritte Stock last night, there have been no further reports of significant damage.
その浸水によってレミューを支える支柱への負担は増大しました。
The burden being placed on the Mu's support columns has increased due to the flooding.
フロア間の歪みは大きくなりつつあります。
The structural distortion between the floors is increasing.
このままいくと、レミューはやがて平行バランスを崩し、大きく傾くことになるでしょう。
As this continues, Lemu will eventually lose its equilibrium and tilt dramatically.
フロア区画の連結部への損傷が重なれば、健在な区画にも各種パイプなどを通して水が侵入してくる可能性があります。
If the damage to the areas connecting the floors of different sectors increases, there is the possibility that pipe leaks could flood the dry sectors.
つまり、油断のならない状況となっています。
In other words, we can't afford to be careless, things are critical.
以前お伝えしたと思いますが、
I think that I told you this before.
レミューの完全悪化推定時刻は5月7日 午前4時30分前後となっています。
Is estimated to occur at 4:30 a.m. on May 7th.
推定誤差はプラスマイナス12時間程度です。
The calculation has a margin of error of plus or minus 12 hours.
この推定数値には今のところ大きな変更はかかっていません。
There's been no significant change in this prediction.
核兵器強度は一部においてすでに限界を超えつつあるのです。
Strength limits of partitions have already been exceeded.
崩壊は段階的に少しずつ、しかし確実に起こります。
The destruction of Leimu will be gradual, but inevitably and steadily occur.
それはもう時間の問題です。
It is only a matter of time. Sora told all of us this with a calm look on her face. We all swallowed and held our breath as we listened. We knew we were reaching our time limit. We had no choice but to accept the reality. There was no avoiding the situation.
現在、発電施設は順調に稼働しています。
Presently, the power generator is functioning normally.
ですが万が一、発電機が停止してしまった場合は、非常電源、蓄電池を使用します。
However, if by chance there is a blackout, we will switch to the emergency power source battery.
通常は非常灯の点灯とシステムの保持に使われている程度のものですが、2時間くらいは持つものと思います。
This is generally meant for supporting the emergency lighting and the maintenance for Limu system. It should last for about 2 hours. However, as I listened to Sora's report, I couldn't help thinking about yesterday with Sora. How much of her thought processes have been repaired? Speaking in front of me was a Sora who was practical, businesslike, and simply responding to the situation at hand. She looked at me as if nothing had transpired and I was of little importance to her. Which Sora is she, the real one or the fake one? This sucks. It wasn't the time to be thinking about that.
旧来の通信回路については依然普通。
Normal communication channels are still not functioning.
脱出方法も見つかっていません。
Neither have I found an escape route.
ですが、
However,
館内レムシステムは全力を挙げて、皆さんの生命維持を最優先事項とし、そのための環境保全に努めます。
I have made protecting you my top priority, and LeMay is devoting all of its resources to that objective.
また、館外で操作可能なセンサー、ライト、マニピュレーターなどを総動員し、
Also using all sensors, lights, manipulators, and means at my disposal outside the complex.
それらを使っての光波、電波、音波による通信の送受信の可能性を改めて検証中です。
And I am still investigating whether there are any means of communicating with the outside using light, radio, or sound. Sora nodded her head, straightened her back, and surveyed the room. We were all silent. There was a look of determination in her eyes.
言わせてもらいますと、
Let me say one thing more.
これは意地です。私、茜ヶ崎空の意地。
That as long as I, Sora Kanagasaki, exist,
できることはわずかですが、皆さんがここにいられる限り、
are limited as long as you are here.
皆さんがここから無事脱出するためのあらゆる手段、方法を私は考え、試したいと思っています。
I'll do my utmost to find a way for you to escape to safety.
あとしばらくの間、よろしくお付き合いのほどお願いいたします。
We do not have much longer together, but I, Sora Kanagasaki, am at your service. She concluded with a serious nod. We also nodded in agreement.
助けは必ず来ます。信じて待ちましょう。
We must wait and believe that help is on its way. Sora's serious expression gave way to a smile.
皆さんが無事救出されることをお祈りします。
Everyone, let's pray for a safe rescue. Her calmness was the result of her efficiently functioning AI. Thankfully, nobody panicked. But was that a genuine smile from Sora? I was pretty sure it was. Because if that were a fake smile, no, even if that were Sora's real smile, thinking about it, there was nothing sad about it. Not wanting anyone to realize my thoughts, I bit my lip. The gloomy atmosphere that had been hanging over the gathering lightened, and everyone started thinking about how they should spend their time. We transferred to the rest area. Everyone found a seat around the central stage. A ripple ran through the water on the floor. A wave swashed back and forth from wall to wall. This is serious. What are we going to do? I didn't have any ideas. A few quiet discussions were going on. Yet from where I stood, it seemed the more people spoke, the murkier the answers became. From the beginning, it was the same debate repeated over and over again. Should we wait for help? Should we seek an escape route? All I could do was look to the ceiling. There were no sign that any bright areas were on their way to my head. We were just waiting for the walls and ceiling to come crumbling down.
どうしたの少年？
Kid, what happened?
みんな気をつけて。
Everyone, be careful.
動かないで。立ち上がらないで。
Don't move, don't stand up. A deep moan rumbled through the room as the floor began to shake. A wave of fear ran through us. Soon the shaking ceased. You?
もう大丈夫だよ。心配いらないって。ね、
Don't worry, it's okay.
ソラ。
Right, Sora?
はい、今の揺れは
Yes, the shaking right now was...
おそらく海底の熱水噴出口の噴出量が一時的に多くなったせいだと思います。
I believe it was only due to a large amount of activity from the thermal vents on the ocean floor. It should only be temporary. But her facial coloring still hadn't returned to normal. Everyone looked around the room, exchanging glances. And just like that, nervous tension refilled the room again. Not again. I decided to take charge. All right, listen up, everyone! I rose to my feet and shouted to everyone. Listen, just stay where you all are. I'm going to check the kiosk on the second floor. Everyone looked shocked as I yelled. Some jaws even dropped. They may have been half put off by me. Still, I didn't concern myself with that. No matter how stupid it seemed, I continued. We're going to have to grab some snacks for everybody. There is plenty up there, and we still should be able to eat it. It'll be a pain to go get it later, and it doesn't make sense to let them go to waste. Alright, we're going to eat here. And let's have a good time. Oh, that's right. Does anybody want beer?
あの
But... You raised her hand
お
timidly.
酒はレミューの売店には置いてないはずだよ。
But we don't sell alcohol in Lemu's kiosks.
地上と気圧が違うせいで悪酔いするお客さんがいたらしいから。
We've had a lot of complaints about customers having bad hangovers due to the difference in air pressure down here. That's too bad. Well, hardly any of you look like you could hold your drink anyway. I guess it'll have to be juice.
あ、たけし、
Excuse me, Takeshi. Now it was the kid who raised his hand.
上から運ばなくても飲み物ならまだタスタ売店の方にもたくさんあるよ。
There are probably plenty of drinks at the chicken sandwich shop. That way you won't have to go above.
缶ジュース、紙コップもいるかな。僕が持ってこようか。
There's canned juice and paper cups. Why don't I go and get them? Alright, kid, you do that.
任せてよ。
Alright, leave it to me. The kid laughed. It seemed he was over the events from the day before.
ここも手伝うよ。
Hey, let me help. As an excited Coco raised her hand, volunteering. Bow wow.
ピピも手伝いたいって。
I think Pee-Pee wants to help too. Great, alright, let's go and get the supplies.
ソラ、時間はまだあるよね。
Do we still have time? You asked Sora this in a small voice.
正確なシミュレーションはできませんが、
I am sorry, I'm not able to run an accurate simulation.
少なくともここは午後2時までは安全です。私が保証します。
There may not be much time, but we will be safe until 2 p.m. That I can guarantee. Sora replied casually.
よし。
Alright. You nodded and looked up.
少年、一緒にタスタ売店に行こうか。飲み物ありったけここに持ってこよう。
Kid, are you ready? Let's grab all the drinks we can carry.
オッケー、そうしよう。
Okay, let's go.
そうだ、
Oh, that's right. You slammed her fist into her hand excitedly and looked around the room.
つぐみはどうするの？
What about Tsugumi?
あれ？
Tsugumi? Huh?
いないね、つぐみ。
Tsugumi's not here. What? I mean, it is a little bit of a surprise in this route. In the kids' route, yeah, she just disappeared all the time. I frantically surveyed the room as well, but Tsugumi was nowhere in sight. Where the heck did she go, and when did she leave?
小町さんは先ほどさりげなく部屋を出て行かれました。
I believe Tsugumi slipped out of here just a short while ago.
2階に向かったようですけど。
She seems to have left for the second floor.
しょうがないな。
There's nothing we can do.
まあ、すぐに戻ってきてくれると信じますか。
She'll be back soon.
くらなり。
She'll be back soon, right, Takeshi? Yeah.
それじゃあみんな、宴会の準備よろしく。
Okay, everyone, let's get ready to party.
あ
Okay.
あ
All right.
おう
Yes. Woof. Yeah.
宴会しよう、そうしよう。
Let's party. Party. I'd only thrown out the ideas as a way to lighten the mood, and before I knew it, we had ourselves a full-blown party in the making. Well, whatever. It was better than having everyone moping around. Soon, Coco, Pee-Pee, and I left to get food. We took the emergency stairs.
パッピプッペポポッペパッペポポッピパッピプピッピパッピピ
They, didn't bother to transliterate that. As we climbed the staircase, Coco sang some crazy song. You seem like you're in a good mood, Coco.
なんかね、ドキドキワクワクする
Well, you know, I just get excited sometimes.
の。いよいよクライマックス。
It's like we've come to the climax.
ヒロインたちの絶対絶命のピンチにさっそうとヒーローは現れる。
The damsel in distress is in a pinch and waltzes in our dashing hero.
お嬢さん、大丈夫ですか？お怪我はありませんか？
Wait, are you not injured?
そこまでだ。仮面怪人ドッペル男。悪は許さん。
There is our masked villain. I can't forgive you this, you evil scoundrel.
このニュートリのエナジーパワーにかけて貴様を倒す。とう。
Using my neutrino energy power, I'll kill you. Aya, which, from what I understand about neutrinos, would be the weakest power ever.
なんて思ったりして。
I can pretend, can't I?
あ、タケピョン呆れたでしょう。呆れ返ってるでしょう。
Takepyon, are you fed up with me? Well, I don't know about that. But I am. No.
なんて不謹慎なお子様なんでしょう。はあ、嘆かわしい。親の顔が見てみたいわ。とか。
You think I'm such a silly girl, don't you? Ah, so sad. But you want to see what kind of parents could have raised me? No, it's not that. Not at all. I mussed up her hair affectionately.
誰かがね、ココたちのピンチにさっそうと現れてくれるの。
If I were in a pinch like that, I'm sure someone would come to my rescue.
そう思ってて、本当にそうなるといいな。
I just can't help but think how wonderful that would be. Except most people don't want to be that person in that position.
ねえ、ココが勝手に思っちゃう分にはいいっしょ？
You know, what's wrong with dreaming like that? Yeah, you're right. You know, to tell you the truth, I'm thinking the same way. I think that someone might come to rescue us. I don't know about the neutrino stuff, though.
そうだよね。
Yeah, you're right. I wanted to believe that a hero was on the way. And that went for Coco, Pee-Pee, and me too. Nickelback. We reached the second floor. We turned down the corridor and entered the souvenir shop. Someone had beaten us there.
あれ、つぐみ、ここに来てたんだ。
Hey, is that you, Tsugumi?
遅い。
You're taking too long. Tsugumi looked a little miffed.
で、どれを持っていけばいいの？
Oh, what do you want me to carry?
ちょっと、何よ、たけし。その鳩が豆鉄砲を食らったような顔は。
What is it, Takeshi? You look like a pigeon caught in a shotgun blast. Which means he looks dead? Nothing. I was surprised she even said anything to me. Okay, let's get started. 1 hour later, we began our party in an elevated part of the rest area. Even without alcohol, the party was lively. Even though from another route we know there actually is beer in the fridge, but whatever. The kid and I distributed the snacks and drinks to everyone. It was then that you volunteered to provide some entertainment. First, she performed an impersonation of a strange old archaeologist who had a talent for cracking a whip. That would be... supposed to say who that is. That would ruin it. Anyway, then Coco came out in a makeshift sumo outfit and stomped her feet on the stage. Sora kept busy filling the rooms with hologram projections of rainbows. More random information. When I was in elementary school, the principal thought it would be fun to, every year, do this assembly where he would dress up the teachers in these skin tone colored bean suits that would kind of look like sumo wrestling, I don't know, like physiques, and have them sumo wrestle each other. It was a thing. And librarians, and then he was into it, and whatever. The rainbow-colored bubbles that floated from the water surface through the air were particularly pretty. After that, Tsugumi joined us. She added a little magic to the show as she dropped her hamster in her skirt pocket only to have it reappear in her breast pocket. She had a hole in her pocket. That really impressed the crowd. Although I knew about her hamster, Chami, many didn't even know Tsugumi had kept a pet. Well, Coco did. The kid and I performed a comedy skit. We pulled out one-liners and impromptu gags, which got huge laughter from everyone. Even Tsugumi?
どうも失礼しました。
Thank you very much. Thanks. The kid and I exited the stage just under us applause.
もう最高だよ。
That was great.
いやー、堪能させてもらったわ。
That was absolutely wonderful.
恐れ入ったわ。
Better than expected.
すごいですね、お二人とも。
Those two are perfect together. Thank you.
ありがとうありがとう。
Thank you, everyone. Actually, I was surprised too that you poked you with a capital. Oh, this is a quote. Okay. Actually, I was surprised too that you poked fun at yourself using the truth about you losing your memory as a gag.
そういうつもりでもなかったんだけど、流れでなんとなくね。
Well, that's just how the skit flowed. It fit perfectly into our act. Well, I guess you're right. Well, it looks like I've got nothing more to teach you, so go ahead and follow in my comedy footsteps.
ああ、ごめんたけし。教わったこともう全部忘れちゃったよ。
Oh, sorry, I already forgot everything. You taught me. Well, that's not too bad. You should at least take notes. Notes! But never fear, I ain't taught you nothing yet.
そうだっけ？
Is that true? And that was about it. The party gradually wound down. I then took a trip back to the kitchen sandwich stand and brought sandwiches back for everyone. We all munched on hot sandwiches. These are so good. It wasn't exactly the ideal breakfast food. Everyone happily downed their food. Food. If Lemu collapsed soon, I thought that could be everyone's last meal. Everyone understood that, yet said nothing. No, everyone understood, which is why they said nothing. Sora. I made up my mind to speak to her about the important things I had on my mind, right after finishing my sandwich.
はい、何でしょう。
Yes, what is it? With a slight smile, Sora gazed at me. Her eyes were like a clear, cloudless sky. Oh, well, it's just that when I saw her smile, I wavered slightly, yet I continued to speak. About yesterday. I'm sorry, I don't know what to say, but
何のことです？
what is it?
おっしゃる意味がよくわからないのですが。
I'm not quite sure what you're talking about. Sora spoke brusquely. Sora? You're lying, right? You haven't forgotten, right? I know I haven't forgotten. That's not just something you just forget about. I realize it's not something you can casually address, but... Sora gave me a bitter smile.
すいません、倉成さん。昨べのことは覚えていないんです。
I'm sorry, Takeshi. I really do not remember the events of last night. What?
私、覚えてませんから。
I do not remember.
本当に覚えてませんから。
I am sorry.
忘れちゃったんですよ。数時間の間、記憶がないんです。
I forgot them. There is a gap in my memory of a few hours. How? Why? You're lying. You've got to be. I didn't want to believe it.
ねえ、倉成さん。
Listen,
私ね。
Takeshi, She laughed again and gazed out at the others around the stage.
こうしているの好きなんです。
I love this.
皆さんが笑っているのを見るのが好きなんです。
Seeing the people around me laugh, I love that.
レミには現在、各種処理を任せてあります。何かトラブルがあれば、すぐに教えてくれます。
Right now, Lemay is handling operations and will alert me if any troubles arise.
私は、大きなトラブルがないように祈りつつ、
I have been hoping that no trouble befalls us.
ここで、皆さんを見守るのが役目なんです。
It is my duty to watch over you all.
私の微笑みに、皆さんが微笑み返してくれると嬉しい。
When people return a smile, it warms my heart.
きっと、そのために、
And for that very reason,
私はいつでも笑っていられるようにできてるんですよ。
that is why I'm always able to laugh.
それが私の制作者のポリシ
That is how my creator made me. I didn't want to talk about herself as something made or how she was manufactured.
ー。倉成さん、そんな泣きそうな顔をしないでください。
Takeshi, please do not look at me as if you were going to cry. Yeah, right, fine. I wish that I hadn't gone overboard last night. But I was wishing for the impossible. What I did.
空、ちょっといい？
Excuse me, Sora.
あ、はい。小町さん、何でしょうか？
Yes, Tsugumi, what is on your mind? Tsugumi was suddenly standing right between Sora and I. Tsugumi let out a nervous laugh.
話があるの。二人で話したいんだけど。
Something I want to tell you. In private.
二人きりでですか？
Private?
ええ。お願い。
Yes, please.
実は、脱出についてあなたに一つ提案があるのよ。
It's about escaping this place. I have a proposal for you. This happened also on the kids' route, but it was a little bit differently worded. Huh.
え、本当ですか？何かいい方法が？
Is that so? What is it? You know of a way?
そうよ。私にならできるかもしれない。
Yes, I might be able to help in some way.
本当にできそうかどうか、空の意見を聞いてみたいんだけど。
I want to hear from you whether or not my idea is feasible. What? Wait a second. Tsugumi, Sora, and I...
たけしは黙ってて。
Shut up, Takeshi. Tsugumi held out her hand as if stopping my mouth in one motion.
私は空と二人だけで話したいの。
To speak to Sora. Alone.
構わないでしょ？
You don't mind, do you, Sora?
はい、わかりました。では、中央制御室で。
Let's talk in the central control room.
そうね。行きましょうか。
Right, let's go. The two got down from the stage and set off with very serious looks on their faces. Wait, hold on, you two. Don't go starting something without telling everyone. Why can't you just talk here?
たけし、
Takeshi? Tsugumi turned around and shot a sharp glare at me. Her eyes were ice.
黙っててって言ったでしょ？
I told you to shut up, didn't I? Sora and Tsugumi turned their backs to me and left together. Things around me got quiet. What the hell? What the hell is going on here? I felt alone, balling up the sandwich wrapper. I threw it as hard as I could. Splash. The wrapper fell in the water, creating a series of ripples.
クラナリ何してんのさ。
Takeshi, what do you think you're doing?
ゴミ投げちゃダメじゃないのよ。
You shouldn't litter, you know. You picked the wrapper out of the water and twisted it around her finger. Who cares? It doesn't matter at this point anyway.
またまた。何いきなりふてくされちゃってるのかな、この男は。
That again. Put your sulking, mister. I'm not sulking.
どうだかね。
If you say so. You shrugged and let out a deep sigh.
はあ。
Literally spelled sigh.
よいしょ。
All right. I glanced over to the corner of the room and saw Coco and the kid climbing a statue. Looking over at them, you and I sat down on the circular
理
stage.
由は明白。
The reason is totally obvious.
言うまでもない。
You don't have to say anything.
元気はあっても、から元気なのです。
Even if you look fine, I know it's just for show.
クラナリ選手はただいま落ち込んでいます。
I know you're depressed, Takeshi. Well, because I mean, it isn't like that at all.
何がだからなのよ。
Because? What's this? Because.
だからってのは、前述の事柄に対してつける接続詞なんだぞ。
Obviously, you're hiding something. You said because.
おかしいじゃないのさ。
That's a little strange, don't you think?
ほら、どうした。なんとか反証してみんかい。うりうり。
Come on, try to prove me wrong. I was pretending I was fine. Even I knew the reason was obvious. I was worried about her.
はあ。
You let out another fake sigh again.
じゃあ、あんたのそのうじうじぶりとは何の関係もなく、質問しちゃおうかな。
Excuse me. Well, if you're not going to tell me, do you mind if I ask a question? You need to put like a cuff button on these kinds of microphones, just like a press button for mute that automatically releases, like it doesn't stick down. Well, if you're not going to tell me, do you mind if I ask a question? Go ahead. As you wish. Sigh. This time, I was the one to sigh.
よーし、質問するよ。
Okay, here I go. Well, hurry up already.
何怒ってるのよ。
So angry about. I'm not angry about anything.
はいはい。
Okay, okay. The kid and PP were playing sumo. Coco was the referee. I watched them. As you spoke.
ねえ、クラナリ、
Hey, Takeshi.
空の思考ノイズ、何だったのか知ってる？
Do you know about the malfunction in Sora's thought process? I don't know. No, wait, maybe I do know.
どっちなのよ。
Well, which one is it? I see what they did there. I can't say either way.
はっきりしないやっちゃな。男だろ？ん？
So you're one of those indecisive types, huh? Alright, alright. But I can't talk about it. It's a secret between Sora and me. It was likely that Sora was jealous of Tsugumi and me. But I was pretty sure AI didn't understand emotions like jealousy. Always bothered by emotions that she didn't understand, Sora. Asking me to explain them to her, Sora. Sharp twinges nagged at my
うー
heart.
ん、そっかそっか。秘密なんだ。
Oh, really, I see. It's a secret, huh?
ところでさ、
By the way,
レミを調べてて分かったんだけど、
when I was searching through Lemire, I found this out.
空の AI システムは自己学習は自動でできるけど、記憶操作は意図的にはできないみたいだよ。
One feature of Sora's system is the ability to engage in self-study, but she is unable to manipulate memories. What? What did you just say?
自己学習、データの蓄積は自動でできる。
She is able to, by herself, store information she accumulated through self-study. Now the part after that.
記憶操作。 消去は勝手にはできない。情報の優先度が変わるだけなの。
She isn't able to manipulate or delete memories by herself. The only thing that can change is the priority she puts on information in her database.
思考修復はシステムが壊れた時の最後の手段。
The only way to perform a system recovery is when the system crashes as a last resort.
システムを管理する人間が承認して初めて可能になるのよ。
And only humans approved by the system can restart her. Meaning that she couldn't have undergone a system recovery last night. Sora, she told me the truth. But at the same time, she lied. A computer program that could only accept yes or no, ones and zeros, had tried desperately to accept a contradiction.
AI も人と同じなんだよ。
In a sense, AI is similar to people.
知らんぷりはできるけど、そうそう簡単に忘れることはできない。
It can pretend that it didn't notice something, but it's not easy for it to forget things. Why are you telling me this?
さあね。
I wonder. You said this sarcastically, playing dumb. Then she laughed mischievously. Listen, you.
何？
What? Even if Sora's memory was being stored somewhere above us, do you think she really wants to be rescued with the rest of us?
クラナリはどう思ってる？
What do you think, Takeshi? Of course, I want her to be saved along with everyone. Lamu is Sora's eyes, her body, even if her mind is in another section. If this part sinks, part of her will go down with it. And if that's the case, no matter what we do, there's no way to rescue her from here completely.
そうだね。空も私たちと一緒に助かるといいね。
Yeah, I really hope that we can all escape together. It sure would be nice for that wish to come true.
そうだね。
Yeah, it would. Coco and Pee-Pee. I could hear splashes as they ran.
そうだ。私の恩人みたいな人がいて、その人から聞いた話があるの。
Actually, a close friend of mine told me this once, but I presume this would be Sara.
信じて願えば叶い現実になる。
Believe it, desire it, and it can come true. Now that's Curie syndrome. So that friend of hers was... who? Believe it, desire it, and it can. What is that something you... What, is that something you read in a book?
違うの。
Another timeline, does Sara say that? Well, not exactly.
そんなことが現象として本当にあるとしたら、その仮説。
It's sort of phenomenon. I don't think if it's true or not. It's just a kind of hypothesis. Hypothesis? Oh no, like the whole idea that we can Curie syndrome Sora into a real person is coming up again. That would be like way off genre, but like they could do it.
その名は
It's called
キュレイ。
Curie. Yep. Curie. Curie. I pondered the word for a moment. Just then,
みんな大変だ。
everyone, we've got trouble. We've got Curie syndrome in the house. Kid came running into the room yelling. Kid, where the heck did you just go?
大変ってどういうこと？
Problem? What kind of problem?
いいから来て。止めなきゃ。
Come on, we gotta go and stop it. Oh yeah, because the kid sees Tsugumi and Sora arguing. For some reason, they need to stop that, because for some reason that's bad. I never understood it. Kid was breathing heavily, yelling between breaths. Stop what? Hey, explain what's going on.
何があったの？
What happened? Woof. Coco and PP came over to see what all the commotion was about.
中央制御室。
Central control room.
空とつぐみ、あれからずいぶん経つけど戻ってこないから。
Sora and Tsugumi were gone for such a long time.
見に行ってみたら、
I went to go find them.
ひどい口論になってて。
And they were in a brutal argument.
僕、見てらんなくて、それで。
I just couldn't watch, so
まずいね。こんな時に。
This is bad news at a time like this.
行こう。止めようよ。
go, we've got to stop them. Yeah, we better hurry. Ow, wow. Kid, Coco, PP, you, and myself. We sped along the wet floor to the central control room. Sora! Tsugumi! I pushed the button to open the door. Ah, that voice acting, that was cool. We burst into the room. We found Tsugumi and Sora screaming at each other. Neither one would give an inch, they just glared at one another. It looked as though they had been fighting for several minutes. The room was filled with tension.
下
Beneath us,
ドリッドシュトックの下にフロアはありません。降りることはできないんです。
despite how long they've been arguing, we, for some reason, start at the beginning of the argument anyway. There aren't any floors underneath 3T stock. We can't go down any further.
嘘。
Liar.
あなたは嘘をついている。
You're lying.
クバレから下を覗いたり、あなたの目を盗んでレミにアクセスしたり、時間がかかったけどね。
Oh, more details. I saw down from Quale, and borrowing your eyes. I was able to access Lemay. It took a while, though.
ようやく確証が持てたの。レミューにはさらに下の階があるって。
Finally got proof. There is more to Lemu below us.
うん。レミューとは別の施設。それがこの真下にあるの。ずーっと下の方によ。
There's another installation other than Lemu, and it's right below us, really far down. Well, yeah, there's the vents. There's the geothermal plant down there, and yes, in the intro, the camera zooms down there, right?
ね。そうでしょ？
I'm right, aren't I?
その問いにはお答えできません。
I can't answer that question.
そう言わずに答えてよ。
Don't tell me that. Just answer me.
チューリングテストをしてみて、あなたが本物の AI だってことはよくわかったわ。
I did a tooling test, and I found that you really are AI.
だとしたら、プロテクトでブロックされていない限り、人間に聞かれたことには正直に答えてくれるはずよね。
As long as you aren't blocked by a protect routine, you have to answer humans honestly.
それがあなたの機能なんだから。
That is part of your functioning.
通常のエレベーターやリフトでは、あそこには行けない。
It isn't possible to get there using normal elevators.
唯一の経路は、閉ざされた扉の部屋につながってる。
The only way there is through a locked door.
その部屋、
That room.
ヒンメル。それは空。あなたの名前でしょ？
Himmel. That's your name, isn't it, Sora?
このままここでじっとしていても何にもならない。
You aren't getting anywhere just sitting around.
時は一刻を争うの。
We're fighting against time.
扉の先に真実はある。
The truth is behind that door.
あの扉、ヒンメルの扉のパスワードを教えなさい、空。
Tell us the password to that door, the one leading to Himmel, Sora.
確かに
It is true.
ヒンメルはドイツ語で空、私の名前です。
That Himmel in German means sky, or Sora in Japanese.
ですが小町さん、私は
But Tsugumi,
私にはあの扉を開く権限がありません。
I don't have the security access to open that door.
残念ながら。
I'm sorry.
嘘よ。
That's a lie.
嘘じゃありません。
It does not.
大した人工知能ね。私をたばかるの？人間を騙せると思ってるの？
Some AI you are. You think I'm stupid? You think you can fool me?
嘘じゃない。本当なんです。
It is not a lie. I'm telling the truth.
私にはあの部屋の先にあるものの情報は何も与えられては。
I don't have any information of what's behind the door.
やめて
Stop it. No, don't. We're getting like Coco jumps between them.
やめてよ二人とも
Stop it, both of you. Both of them flinched for a moment, but continued to look bitter.
ココちゃん。
Coco?
ここ。
Coco?
やめてねお願いだよ
I don't know why you'd want to stop that. I would just keep listening. Stop it, okay, please.
これは私たちの問題なんです、ココちゃん。
This is between Tsugumi and me.
どきなさい、ここ。怒るわよ。
With that, Coco, or I'm really going to get mad.
どうして
Why?
つぐみんも、そらさんも。やめようよ。
Tsugumi, Sora, stop it.
なんで喧嘩する
Why are you arguing?
喧嘩なんかじゃありません。
This isn't an argument. Yeah, it doesn't look like it.
喧嘩じゃないわ。
We aren't.
の？嘘だよ。
You're lying, it's a lie.
喧嘩したらダメだよ。
We shouldn't be fighting. Against like much ado about nothing. Large tears welled up and flowed from Coco's eyes. About what? Tears had a freezing effect on Sora and Tsugumi. Coco started gasping. He suddenly ran to the corner of the console. Or rather, fell there. She leaned against the console, barely able to support herself. Coco's body was shaking slightly. Her lips trembled. I could see that her lips had gone pale quickly. It was different than crying. Coco? Hey, what? What's up with all of you? What's it with you all of a sudden? Coco's lips were suddenly stained red.
ここ
Carbon monoxide? Coco? The kid opened her eyes wide, looking shocked. This is a curveball. What? Well, you could speculate that Coco died in here. Like everyone escapes but Coco from the kids are out, where Coco's kind of like left behind as a ghost, quote unquote. Like, were there any hints of this at all? Like, this was just like poof. Alright. Blood was flowing over onto the floor of the control room. It wouldn't stop. It kept falling from her mouth.
どうしたの？
What's happening?
ココちゃん、
Coco? Coco shook her head and trembled violently. She had her hand on her mouth, desperately trying not to cough.
なんてこと。
It can't be. Is it deep blue?
これは、この症状は。
These symptoms are deep blue. Sarah looked as if she were about to panic.
症状？そんなのどうでもいい。
Symptoms? Who cares about that? Tsugumi screamed,
見
furious.
てわからないの？このままじゃココが。
Can't you tell if this keeps up, Coco's going to?
ここしっかりするんだ
Coco, hang in there.
クラナに、どうしよう、どうしよう。
Takeshi, what are we going to do? Hang on, everyone, don't panic. You've got to stay calm. I screamed out in a loud voice to everyone. Just calm the heck down, okay? Oh wait, maybe I need to calm down too. Whew. Everyone took deep breaths trying to settle down. Coco, just relax. You're going to be okay.
しゅたけぴょん
All right, Take Pion. Steadying her trembling eyes, Coco looked at me firmly. Good girl. Now hang on to me, Coco. Turned around and thrust out my back toward her. Can you get on? Yeah, that's not really how you do it, though. You want to whine. Pee-Pee looked up worriedly at Coco. We're going to the infirmary in Zweite.
了解。
Okay. I realized that I was holding on to Coco. We were rushing up to Zweite stock some 56 feet above us. I held Coco on my back with you and Tsugumi supporting her from the sides. Again. Sora went ahead to guide us and the kid followed a short distance behind. We emerged at the second floor emergency corridor. Which was it? Which was is it? Which is it? Left or right?
このまままっすぐ。
Straight ahead. Okay.
あんまり乱暴に走らないで。揺らさないでよ。
So fast, stop shaking her so much. I know, just pipe down, would you? Coco was groaning in pain on my back. but I could still make it. There was no way I was going to fail. What would you fail doing, though? I wasn't going to say, it's no use, we're too late. I wasn't going to let anyone else say it either. As long as there was some hope left, I wouldn't give up. I took a shortcut to the nearest elevator and rushed Coco to the infirmary.
スキャンをかけるから台の上に寝かせて。
I'm going to scan her, so put her on the table. You pointed to the LMRI. It was fixed, of course, because it had just been plugged in. Tsugumi and I laid Coco down on the flat table. Coco continued to breathe in her short, shallow manner. Although she had stopped coughing up blood, she seemed to be in a lot of pain. Her body lay still. The arm at the LMRI soon came to life and started a laser scan. The kid came up on the side of the table and stared at Coco, looking as if he would burst into tears. Sora, put the results up on the screen so everyone can see them.
はい。
Okay. Suddenly, a few holographic windows appeared in the air. Images including a thermal scan, ultrasound analysis, showing cross-sectional representations of her body, and a laser sampling were all displayed one after another. Of course, the laser one is useless because your body is opaque. Well, it's opaque at visible. You could give her a sunburn by doing like gallium, you could do like UV laser, like gallium nitride. Well, whatever. Do infrared, you do a 2 micron scan. I don't know if, I probably would think you were still opaque at 2 microns though. Of course, none of us were doctors, so there was little we could understand about her condition by looking at the pictures. All we could do was wait for the scanning equipment and the MIS system to give us an answer. We stared at the images that flashed by on the screen and prayed. Then, the results suddenly appeared. Teeth Blue, 2017, revision 17. Yep, that's German for deep blue.
ティーフブラウ。
Teeth Blue. Huh? What'd you say?
そんな。
No. Sora hurriedly shut down the holographic window. She bit her lip and stared down in shock. Her expression showed how serious the situation was. Sora.
どうしたのよ、ソラ。言ってくれないと。
What's wrong, Sora? If you don't tell us.
教えてくれないとわからないよ。
If you don't tell us, we don't know what's going on.
信じられない。
I can't believe it.
そんな。信じられません。
I just can't believe it. Why can't you? Deep Blue struck before, hadn't it? What don't you believe?
ココちゃんは。
Coco's been...
ココちゃんは。感染しています。
Coco has been infected.
感染。
Infected? What?
それは。
It's... Sora was unable to suppress her agitation and opened her mouth hesitantly.
ティーフブラウ。
TF Blue.
強力な致死性の高いウイルスです。
It is a powerful virus with a very high mortality rate.
ティーフブラウ。
TF Blue. Although that might be like Germanized pronunciation. No, not German. Japanified, whatever that word is. Japanese like modification to the pronunciation. TF Blue.
ここ
Coco. Ken ran over to Coco's side and held onto the
しっ
table.
かりしてよここ
Coco, hold on.
やだ死んじゃ嫌だ
Don't die on me. He held onto Coco's arm as she lay there unconscious.
目を開けてくれここ
Yes, Coco.
頼むよ起きてくれよ
Please get up. The kid grabbed a hold of Coco's shoulders and shook her violently. Hey, cut it out. Stop it, kid. I pried his hands off Coco and pulled him away from her.
何すんだよ
What are you doing? Jackass, calm the hell down. What do you think that's going to accomplish, huh?
だってここが
She's gonna...
このままじゃここが死んじゃうよ
If we don't do anything, Coco's going to die. The kid groaned in despair. Calm down. There's got to be something we can do. Don't get crazy. Let's just calm down and think. One thing to do. We don't know the details of how the virus transmits, but if I heard that, I would just definitely not touch her. Definitely put gloves on. Right? Kid somehow quieted down. He breathed heavily and glared at me. What do you think we should do, you?
そんなこと言われても私にはわからないよ。
Don't ask me, I have no idea. This is the same thing that killed both your parents.
ソラ、何か対処法はないの？
Sora, isn't there anything we can do?
応急処置でしたら可能です。
If we take emergency measures, it is possible.
ですが根源的な対策には
In order to do this,
応急処置で構わない。早くしないと。
heart transplant. Whatever it takes, we don't hurry then. You stopped herself just short of screaming out.
お願いソラ、あなただけが頼りなのよ。
Sora, you're the only one who can help us.
教えて、方法を。
Please tell us what to do.
アンプルを症状に対応したアンプルが必要です。
You'll need serum. A serum to lessen the symptoms.
アンプル？どれなの？
Serum, what kind?
それがこの部屋にあるかどうか。
I don't know if it's here or not. Why would it not be in Lamu? Isn't Lamu the place where you get teeth blue?
そんな。
What? You ran to the wall and opened up a shelf filled with medical tools. She repeatedly asked Sora about the contents as she tore through them.
これは
What about
Yeah.
this? No.
これじゃないの？
Isn't this one?
違います。
No, it's not.
こっちは？
How about this one?
それではありません。
Not that one either.
それも違います。
Isn't it either? You dropped bottle after bottle of medicine onto the floor. Many of them exploded into pieces when they hit.
どう
What
しよう。
are we going to do?
どうしたらいいの？答えてソラ。
What should we do? Answer me, Sora.
残念ながら
I am sorry. Pee-Pee came over to me and whined softly. Oh. Sora's face suddenly changed colors.
ピピちゃん、それをください。早く。
Pee-Pee, bring that over here quickly.
ピピちゃんが口に加えているそれです。
That thing that Pee-Pee has in his mouth, that's it. What? Quickly snatched whatever it was. I quickly snatched whatever it was out of Pee-Pee's mouth and lifted it up. This?
アンプル。
It's the serum. It was a transparent capsule with orange liquid inside of it. How do we use it?
先を折って開封して、そのまま中身をココちゃんに注射してください。
Break off the tip and inject the contents into Coco. Just like right in her shoulder. Okay, if you wanted to make sure it gets in. You do your magic. You ran over to where I was and grabbed the serum out of my hand. Coco held out a shaking arm. You silently inserted the syringe into her arm and administered the serum. Didn't bother to disinfect first, so she might get an infection, but whatever. After a few minutes, although it was gradual, Coco's breathing became more and more even and the tremors in her body settled down.
効果あったようです。
Looks like it is taking effect.
体調はある程度持ち直しました。危機は去りましたよ。
Her condition has improved somewhat. The danger seems over for now.
よかった。
Thank goodness. Both you and Sora looked relieved. You looked as if she could cry. Oh, Tsugumi's still here. The kid looked up and let out a big sigh of relief. Tsugumi stared at Coco in silence. Hey, Pee-Pee. Who would have thought you'd find the serum? When did you get this? Where'd you find it? Pee-Pee whined pitifully. All right. Everyone gathered around the LMRI where Coco slept. Sora, tell us what you can about the teeth brutal virus. That's the first time I've ever heard of it. Does anyone else know anything about it? When I asked the question, you, the kid, Tsugumi, even Pee-Pee all shook their heads. You said it has a high mortality rate. You don't have any idea when or how Coco got this, do you? I don't care if it is only a guess or if you give me only the limited data you have. I just want to know. Coco came down with this out of nowhere. It doesn't help the rest of us to be ignorant.
そうですね。
You are right. Sora got a strange expression on her face. After thinking for a moment, she gave us a wholehearted explanation.
わかりました。ティーフ・ブラウンに関して私が語ることのできる情報のすべてをお伝えします。
Okay, I'll tell you everything I know about the teeth blue virus. A heavy silence descended upon the emergency room. Every once in a while, the sensor from the LMRI could sound out Coco's vital signs, the only noise to echo through the room.
ティーフ・ブラウ
Chief Blue, or TB, was. Sora started talking softly. Kinda like tuberculosis, where you cough up blood.
ティーフ・ブラウはレミューの下にある研究施設にて研究されていた極めて致死性の高い悪性ウイルスです。
TB was developed in a research facility under Lemieux. Oh, wasn't that relevant? It was an extremely deadly virus. If you were, just for context, this was recorded in late 2020. Late 2021. 1 year ago in 2020, there was a virus that got a lot of attention for being developed in a lab, essentially. And there was it got it's all political, and there's denial, and whatever. China said it wasn't, and China's not trustworthy. Oh, anyway.
研究施設ここの下に
At a research facility under us, Yu's eyes opened wide.
ええ、
Yes.
EBF と呼ばれる施設がこの真下にあります。
Couldn't hide it, Sora. There's an installation called IBF right below us.
EBF
Oh, that's interesting. So you said eBay Efe. That's like the Romance way of saying the Roman characters. So European languages that evolved from Latin, you say the characters, those three letters, E, Be, and Fe, which makes sense why the Japanese would call them E, Be, and Fe. English is like the odd one out, where we pronounce the letters the characters differently because of something called the Great Vowel Shift that happened, which is just when English people just corrupted their language incredibly.
やっぱり
I knew it. Tsugumi frowned. This is what I took.
決定的な事態を目の当たりにしてしまっては、さすがに人工知能の機密保守命令も解除されたか。
Well, it looks like this AI's programming can change after all. If the situation gets critical enough, we can actually get information we need.
人一人の命がかかっているもの。黙ってはいられないみたいね。
I guess it isn't in your programming to keep a secret when someone's life is on the line.
ごめんなさい。どうぞ続けて、ソラ。
I'm sorry, please continue, Sora. After shaking her head lightly, Tsugumi let out a sigh.
はい、
Okay.
テーマパークレミューの運営母体ライプリヒ製薬、そのライプリヒが設立した研究施設が EBF です。
Yeah, finally answers to questions. Finally! Like, I had that big list of mysteries, and, none of them were solved. No answer to any of them until Coco carved in that statue. That told us something, right? But then this. Finally, some answers. Finally. Hours upon hours later. But the answers will have to come in my next recording, because I gotta eat and then do stuff besides record after I eat. If you watched all this, thank you for watching it.